Hi, it's been a really long time. I'm not used to doing voiceovers or anything, let alone content creation or anything like that. So, thank you for clicking on this video. It's been a long time since I posted on this account. It's weird because I just honestly don't know where to start, but I hope you enjoy this video and let's get into it. This is a video for my painting The Night of Flowers I did for a zine with Nova and Mali back in like 2021, I think it released. They've made 3 volumes of that zine since then. The zine was called Classics But Make It Gay. It was huge. It was a really good zine project, and honestly all their zines are. I'm like a huge fan of their work. But yeah, this illustration was made back in 2021, and I thought, since I want to start posting and content creating again, I thought let me use one of my old videos and one of my old pieces I never posted, because believe it or not, despite this painting being like published in a whole book on Kickstarter and everything, I haven't actually posted it online. So I thought let me just post it on my YouTube as like a Kickstarter to my content creating bag again, and see like who's here, who wants to see what type of work I post, who wants to see my work still, if anybody's still interested in that. And yeah, so that's what this video will be today. Before we get on to the topic of today's video, which will be like where I've been, how I am, what am I doing now, what are my plans, all of that, I'm just gonna tell you the information about this piece. So for the zine, we were contracted to make our own version of a older painting, a Renaissance painting, anything like that, that type of thing, you know what I mean? So we were supposed to make our own version, a repainting of it or a redrawing of it, depending what your style is or whatever. And I chose this painting by Georges Rosheruuu. I can't remember that's how you pronounce his name. I can't remember what century this was made in, but it's a very famous painting. Like, you've probably seen it go viral. Like, you've seen like just parts of it, some of the girls, the flowers, or the reflection of the armor. That's a very popular part of the piece. And yeah, this piece, I remember seeing it way back then, and I think this is like the whole reason why I wanted to be a part of this scene, because I saw this piece and I was like, I think I could recreate this, and I'd love to make it in, you know, in the eyes of the gays. Like, I wanted to do basically this zine was basically like my ideal prompt, my ideal contract, and it was really fun to do. So as you can see right now, I'm just drawing the faces of the flowers. I had no real idea, like I didn't pre-design the flowers. I just kind of used similar positions that they were in the original painting, as you can see, and just drew people. I wanted to diversify them, I knew that for sure. The flowers in the painting, their hair is usually like incorporated with petals, or their hair, they've got flower crowns on. And to be fair, well, to be honest, not fair, to be honest, I couldn't actually read all of the flowers that were being used. So for example, I think this purple one here might be an orchid or something. I remember looking it up and not being very clear on what it was. I know like the figure that's leaning directly on the knight in the original painting is a rose of some kind, but the one to the right of her, I think those might be orchid petals. I remember looking it up at the time and just trying to find the exact flower, and I couldn't, so I ended up just making it up myself. But honestly, there was like no issue in redesigning the designs of the flowers or even the positions that they were in, because it's a really old painting and it's kind of hard to read, especially online, since I've never really seen the painting myself in real life. So I've only seen scans of it, like the pictures you can get over Google, and that was my only reference. So it was kind of hard to read in terms of like the body language, like the positions that they were in, because they're also obscured by plants and all of that stuff. So I just thought, considering we can take any type of creative liberty with our prompt or the design that we chose, then I just thought it was fine to just change a few things here and there. Like, for example, not only did I change the flower designs, I changed the knight's armor a lot. Like, the design of the armor is like not really comparable to the original, which is like a shame now I think about it, but I think that's because of like my skill set at the time. Even my skill set now, I don't know if I could recreate the level of like mastery of reflection and stuff like that, but it was really good to learn how to do that with this piece, because yeah, so even though it's different, it's still good and it's still recognizable as the original painting. Like, the fact that I reflect the surroundings within the armor, it makes it original. I mean, not original, it makes it recognizable. It makes it recognizable as the original painting. So I don't think much is lost. This flower that I'm doing right here, her hair design was inspired by WAP by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Like, this was back in 2021, so WAP was still very much, well, not very much, it was still in my creative sphere. I wouldn't say it was in pop culture, I don't know, but I was really inspired by the hairstyle, and I just remember wanting to draw it so much. And because I had the opportunity to draw so many different characters and hairstyles in one piece, I just thought, why don't I incorporate it? And that's how I decided to draw peonies, because peonies kind of look like big curls if you stylize it the right way. And I just thought it looked really good with the design. It just helped not only diversify with bodies, I just wanted to diversify with hair textures and race, because like, you can diversify with race, but if everybody has bone straight hair, it's not, you know, that diverse, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, like I said before, some of the poses were hard to read, so I had to just redesign some of the characters and the positions that they were in, but it's still recognizable as the painting. It just took a while to actually get into a composition that I liked. I ended up falling in love with the character designs that I did, and I really, really wish that I had drawn them at the time, but I was like burnt out after this, like majorly. Like, this painting really burnt me out, and yeah, it just wasn't gonna happen. But I think I would draw them again now. I've always had plans to, especially like the hydrangea or the peony. I wanted to redraw everything. Maybe not the whole painting, but I would redraw the characters because I really enjoy their designs and I don't really want them to go to waste. So I've just spoken all over the sketching part, but since I didn't actually record the cleanup, I'm just showing you like the process of doing the lines, and I cleaned up the lines and I added the colours and then I added the shading like I usually do, my usual process before I get into painting. And then I just had it up just to showcase everything, the lighting as well, and I think I'll be getting onto the painting soon just as I adjust the pictures, maybe. Yeah, so now I'm onto the painting, which is the bulk of the recording, which is why the sketch and the base colors got down so quickly. If you know anything about my painting process, is that the painting will never look exactly like the original base colors or the shading. It will have resemblance to it, but my painting process is very like put down suggested colors, and then painting is when we get into the real like bones of it, that where it starts coming to life. So what the face that you see here on the main character, their face is just, it's somewhat similar. I'd say the eyes are similar, but the mouth, as you can see, I started changing it a lot, even from when I first started painting it. Even the hair changes a lot. The one thing that is definitely consistent throughout the whole process is their armor, which I'm very proud of. Looking back on it now, I think I would have probably done things differently. It's my first time painting armor, let alone reflective armor, but I think that actually made it easier to paint reflective armor, honestly, where it has, if it was just something in a blank space, for example, like no background, it'd be harder to draw because reflections and stuff. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm trying my best. But yeah, this design for the armor, there wasn't really much to go off of on the original painting. It was very basic, and it was hard to replicate because I couldn't find many references for the time period that the artist was going for or anything like that. So I literally just searched up armor. I remember doing it, searched up armor, different characters. Ashamedly, I searched up Fire Emblem, even though that's not like, a historical thing, but I was just thinking of franchises that use armor a lot in their character design, and I don't really have much experience in that field, so who knows if there were better IPs I could have looked at. But yeah, so yeah, the painting process it changes a lot over time, but it's very similar to my current painting process. I've changed a lot in the past 3 years when this was painting, I think. It's still very similar, but it's still quite different. There's different things that I would do now. Even the way I draw faces, I think that's what's changed it a lot. I have tried to incorporate texture a lot more and harsh lighting, different colours, all of that stuff. But yeah, as you can see in my painting process, I don't just do one character, I do whatever I feel like doing in that moment, because this process, I have so much footage for it. I don't even know how long it would have been originally. I want to say it was something like 40 hours plus, like a work week, like around that time, but it was done over about 2 months period. I don't know, I can't remember. It's been 3 years since I drew this. I probably wrote it down somewhere, but I don't have it to hand right this moment, unfortunately. So yeah, it's just a lot has changed since then. The thing about the designs, I ended up making them all elven or have like elf ears. There's no particular reason other than the fact that I like drawing elf ears. Like most of my OCs, if they are like magical, quote unquote, they have elf ears, and there's no reason other than the fact I like that design. I remember one time when I was applying for colleges, probably 2018, not like American college, like going to university, not that type of college. In England we have like a whole other system that I'm really not bothered to explain right now, but it's basically like, for example, if you were to go, instead of staying until your senior year, you can either go to a separate college and complete your 2 years there until you're 18, from 16 to 18, or you can stay at your current high school and stay in something that we call a sixth form, and then you stay there from 16 to 18 and complete your courses there. I decided to go to college because I was not staying in my school. Love all my friends, but high school, if you had a great high school, secondary school experience, I'm very happy for you, but me, it could have been better, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the time where I went to apply for a college, and one of the professors there, which is one of the main reasons why, or was it a university? I think this was uni. I think I just explained that for no reason. Oh well. But yeah, this is for uni. I won't say which uni it is because I'm pretty sure it's a good uni. I'm just complaining. But yeah. See, this is what I mean. Just to interrupt, this is what I mean about my process. Like I will spend all the time in the world on an official sketch, an official line work, an official shading, just to redraw it again in the sketchiest way possible, and just color pick the colors I used before. My process is a whole like thing. But yeah, still quite proud of that body, actually. The thing is that when it came out of after drawing this, before I got burnt out, which I will speak about in a second, the thing is that came to this, I wanted to draw a lot of these characters again because I enjoyed their designs a lot, and I think I still might do it, but I don't like making promises about art because I am very flip-floppy about stuff like that. So I don't want to be like, yeah, I'm going to be drawing this, and then people ask me, where is it? And I'm going to be like, I don't know. So yeah, so that's it. But back to what I was originally talking about, which is when I went to apply for a university, and one of the professors, or the professor for my course would have been, saw my portfolio and said, oh wow, it's really diverse. And I remember thinking to myself, well, yeah, I'm black, but anyway, I remember thinking that about he's an alright guy, I guess. There was nothing that made me think, wow, he's such a great guy. I didn't think he was a terrible person, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, this is the person I want to be reporting to for the next 3 years. But I remember him saying, oh, why do you draw elvish ears? And I was like, I don't know, I just like to, because I literally do not have a reason other than the fact that I like doing that. And he said to me it's because of Avatar, and not Avatar the Last Airbender, as in Avatar, the blue people Avatar, James Cameron, by that guy. See, I'm doing the reconstructing the entire sketch thing again because I'm not happy with the art, but as you can see, I changed the face a lot. But anyway, yeah, he said that was the reason why I decided to do it, and I don't think that's the reason why I did that. I can't remember where my like for elf ears came from, but I don't remember it being because of Avatar, blue people Avatar. Like, I don't remember that being the reason. So yeah, I don't know where, I wonder if he still feels that way. He's probably seen a lot of portfolios since then, and yeah, I'm not sure if he feels that way still, but that was definitely not the reason why I do that. I just like elf ears. I think they add something. They're just cute. I don't have to. It's the same when people say things like, oh, what does this tattoo mean? Like, some people's tats they just like them. They don't mean anything. They just like, it's like having art, like your body is the canvas and you draw on your, I don't know how to describe it, but it doesn't have to have like a super solid meaning all of the time. So yeah, but yeah, as you can see, I'm just playing with the main character. Their design changes quite a bit, but it doesn't stray too far. It's not like I change their hair color or skin color or anything like that. That they stay relatively the same. I would say around like the type of clothing shading that I do, that has changed quite a bit, because I was looking at a lot of my old work and I used to draw a lot of really thick material for clothing, and it looks somewhat unrealistic. I wouldn't say my style is heavy realism because it's not. I'm not one of those artists that could do photorealistic art. It's just inspired a lot by realism. But yeah, I think my shading has changed a lot. But less about the art. I want to go on to what the topic of this video is supposed to be about. So, I wanted to talk about where I've been for the past 3 years. I think I posted last, I want to say 2021. Let me just get it up actually. Last time I posted for real was 2022, January 29th to be specific. And that was, the last painting I did was also for a zine I was a part of. It was a part of the Bratz Treats zine. And that zine is where we drew the Bratz girls, the main core four, and I think some other characters were included in the scene as well. And we just drew them with sweet treats, so like desserts, sweets, candy, whatever you want to call it, that type of thing. It was a really fun zine to be in, actually. Like, at the time I was in my zine bag, I would just be looking at zine pages and just searching up any zines, because I just loved being a part of projects like that, and I would love to be a part of projects like that again, but I don't draw consistently enough, and I don't want to just be submitting years old work because they're like, well, why don't you draw anything anymore? And it's like, because I was burnt out. And when you're trying to be employed, you don't want to tell them, oh, I get burnt out from time to time and I just stop drawing and I just, it just makes you sound unreliable, but it's a reality a lot of artists face. And for me, it was really, really, really hard. So it kind of started probably around this time when I posted this video, the Bratz one, in early 2022. I had been a university student for 2 years at that point. So I'd moved to London. I'm not from London, but I'd moved to London in the UK, and I'm from Birmingham in the UK originally. And I had moved there about 2 years ago, and if you were alive for the past 4 years, you must have known that we entered a pandemic that is still unfortunately going on, but capitalism requires that we act like it's not. But I started university in 2020, and because of COVID, I was not able to do all the university things. I still moved out, but I think the second term of my first year in 2020, I had to move back home, and I worked remotely and I did online classes, all of that jazz. So a lot of the first year of university, where you get to experiment, you get to figure out what it is that you want to do, was kind of lost for me. I mean, we still did a lot of that, but compared to how students I know from years below me, their experiences and the things that they get to do in their first year is very different to mine. And I just think I remember people were trying to find a way to be compensated for this, but that involved being a part of like a lawyer's thing and like a class action lawsuit that I just don't have the money to pay for if we were to somehow win that. It's a very complicated thing that I just couldn't get involved in, but yeah, that's besides the point. So I had been in a university just for 2 years, and I was supposed to graduate 2023, haven't graduated yet. I'm supposed to graduate this year in July, so fingers crossed for that. Just send good vibes only, or bad vibes, please exit stage left. But so I ended up being burnt out in 2022 when it came to content creation, because 2022 was when things started to open back up, lockdown was lifted. For a lot of people, I started to go outside more because we could go outside, and I had to be in university physically a lot more often, and I had a lot of commitments at university, which I still found very, very hard to commit to, because it's hard out here. I don't know if you know anyone that has like struggles with mental health issues like depression or anxiety. I don't know, I think I got a bit of ADHD in there too, I don't know. I have not been diagnosed with that, but if you know anyone like that, or you yourself are like that, you'll know that academic commitments can be very hard, and they were very hard for me. So balancing that and an online presence was very hard for me, and it just wasn't doable at the time. And because I was working so hard, a lot of my creative energy was going towards university, and I was not able to use it as an outlet anymore. It felt more like a chore to do on top of it, to stay on top of it, because if you post on places like here, Instagram, you have to play up for the algorithm. You have to be able to post regularly, consistently, lest you get you'll disappear from the algorithm. You won't show up on people's feeds anymore. And when you're an artist, visibility is very important, because you need to be able to have an audience, maintain audience, especially if you want to open something like commissions, or if you want to work commercially, you need to have an audience of some kind, and it's not easy to maintain, and I just couldn't balance the two at the same time. Plus, I also needed to work to earn money to live, since I wasn't living at home anymore. I was living by myself, so I needed to earn money somehow, and commissions were very hard to come across, and working commercially was also very difficult at the time. I think I had 1 or 2 commissions at the time, but it wasn't easy. And that's why I disappeared for so long. So if you ever wondered where I went or what I was doing, I was a university student and I just didn't have the strength to balance both. There's people out there that can do it, and I can't act like I'm not superhuman, and I don't want to act like my struggles are any worse than other people's, because some people will be dealing with a lot of stuff, and I don't want to minimize it or be like, woe is me, my life is so hard, or anything like that. I just want to be transparent with what I was dealing with at the time and how it disallowed me to do things that I wanted to do. And it was also me figuring out what it was that I wanted to do. This course was helping me figure out which steps I want to take going into the illustrative world, into the art industry. And honestly, my ideals from the start of my course till now have changed so much. After learning so much about the industry, what it would take to be a part of it, all of that stuff, it's not as easy as you think it's going to be. And finding your place is also just as difficult. And I think I'm very grateful for the steps I took to get to where I am. Of course I would change certain things, but I'm still very proud of the steps that I took to get where I am. I used to be so not upset, but I used to be so worried all the time because I'm not moving at the same pace as my peers. And I just want to let you know, if you feel like that about yourself or your work, everybody has their own path that they need to take. Like, you can't, if you spend your time comparing yourself to others, you will drive yourself crazy. Believe me, I used to do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your time, and it's a discredit to yourself. Everybody's path is different. Nobody shows the bad times that they're going through, and if they do it in a way that they're comfortable to show you. Like, think about it. When you see people posting on social media, you're not seeing them crying, you're not seeing them not getting this job, you're not seeing them being let down. People tend to share the things that are good things that happen to them. They tend to share that, so they don't really tend to share the bad things that are happening to them. But just because they're not sharing it doesn't mean that it's not happening to them. Like, think about it for yourself. If you post online, unless you're in dire need of help, you're usually posting the good things. Like, not if you just have like a normal account. I mean, like, account that you show to people, like, for example, a Instagram account where you have all your friends and old acquaintances and all this stuff. You usually post the good things, like how your life is going. If you're having something nice to eat, you'll post that. You're not going to be posting your mental breakdown. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to think, people are just like you, and if somebody is trying to tell you they're not, they're lying to you, because everybody has their own stuff they're dealing with, and the sooner that you come to terms with that and stop comparing yourself to others, it will get easier for you to manage your emotions. But I'm not a therapist. Therapy and I do not go hand in hand like that. I mean, therapy is good but it's finding the right therapist for you, the type of therapy that you need. And if you feel like you can't handle it, then it might be time for you to reach out. So please do not take my experience with therapy as all therapy is bad. Like, it's not all bad. I wish that I had a better experience with it, but I don't. And if it works out for me in the future, I hope it does, because something like that working is a blessing, honestly. But yeah, that's an update of where I'm at. Yeah. So I just want to say, if you've stuck around for this long, I'm really grateful, and it may mean that you're up to seeing more content from me, which is what I want to start doing again, because I do miss drawing, I do miss posting. It's taken me over a year to fall back in love with drawing, and I want to share with you guys again. So yeah, as you can see, I'm still painting. I'm doing cane rose right now. I think cane rose are one of the forefront flowers, and I enjoy doing this a lot. I've drawn cane rose a lot since this period of time, and I still think this is a pretty good, like, first attempt-ish. They're very hard to get the knack of, because there's lots of different styles of cane rose. Like, you can have ones that are just, that showcase the parting or showcase the braid more. If that doesn't make sense, I apologize. But yeah, it's hard, but I will be doing a part 2 of this video since this is already very long. I didn't really want to make an hour-long video on this channel. I wanted to split it into 2. So yeah, I hope you stick around for the next one. I'll be talking about things that I want to do in the future and basically chatting to you guys, and if that interests you, please stick around for more. So thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much if you're here, and I'm still active. Well, I'm planning to be active on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Patreon. I haven't been active for the same amount of time since 2022. I'm not sure if I will continue to be active on there or not, but please stick around because I will be announcing it if I am, and you'll be the first to hear about it. So thank you again, and see you in the next one.